We're all learning today.
Both jammers hitting the pack hard. Bento Boxer trying to fight through that front four wall of Wheels of Justice. And Nectar sees an opening, splits right through the middle. She is lead jammer.
Bento Box still trying to work her way through the pack. Gets hit to the outside. Nectar cutting right through the pack. First blood on the board. 5 points for the FreshMeat.
Bento Boxer escapes the pack. Here comes Nectar now in second scoring pass. Just hops right over the wall by putting her hands on her hips, and she is out first. She was the lead jammer, so she can call off the jam, which ends up before the 2-minute limit. So we're going to line up and do it again. Rose City scored 9 points.
Excellent first jam there for the FreshMeat. Next up, we're going to have Neurotic Nedra
up against Harriet Thugman.
And the Rat Lap taking the front line. And there goes Neurotic Nedra picking up lead jammer for FreshMeat. Harriet Thugman is not far behind her.
Well, Harriet Thugman might be on the Rat Lab program. She is no stranger to high-level national play, competing in bank track tournaments. Here come both jammers in the pack scoring. Neurotic Nedra calls off the jam, scoring 3, but right behind her, Harriet Thugman passing every blocker to get 4 points, putting Rat City on the board.
Lining up on that Ron Tonkin jammer line, that's going to be number 805, Krista Meaner for the FreshMeat, taking on Carolina for Rat Lab.
Rose City is down 1 blocker because a member of the Rat Lab picked up a penalty, so she is sitting in the penalty box. And lead jammer for Krista Meaner. Carolina was hit to the infield, had to recycle back around all the Rose City blockers to stay in play.
FreshMeat using that tried and tested triangle defense that they've learned from their big sisters, Wheels of Justice, shutting down the jammer for the Rat Lab.
Krista Meaner is out, but she is just flattened by 1816 Wadibs.
Carolina now through on her initial pass as Krista Meaner's working on some points here. She gets around number 80, Stevie Thunder, takes her points and calls off the jam.
So a 5-point scoring pass for Rose City. Carolina able to sneak in before the jam is called off to get 4 of her own. It's now 17-8 with 26.5 minutes to go in the first period.
We've got Bento Boxer lining up here for Rat Lab, taking on Haviland for the FreshMeat.
This time Rat City starting off with a 4-3 pack advantage. And there's a pile up right down the middle. Haviland escapes first, but has Bento Boxer right on her heels.
Haviland doesn't like her advantage, and she decides to call off the jam to restart. Rose City Rollers would like to thank Bridgetown Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of the Rose City Rollers since the beginning. Like a Vegan lining up here for FreshMeat.
Against Harriet Thugman of the Rat Lab. Both jammers hitting that back wall really hard. Solid steel 3-pack by Rat City, but like a Vegan able to just juke around the outside, picking up lead once again. And Harriet Thugman escapes the pack as well, so both jammers in scoring position. Like a Vegan comes in hot, jukes right around 22. Kendra Hertz scoring some points, calling it off, getting 4. Harriet Thugman grabbing 1 point for the Lab.
Carolina lining back up here for the Rat Lab, taking on Nectar for FreshMeat. Empty penalty box means everyone's here for the party.
5-on-5, just the way we like it. Rat City doing that rotating four wall in the back. Up front, Carolina just trapped outside by the Rose City wall. And Nectar escapes first, picking up the lead.
Carolina recycled to the back again, still trying to make it around that puffer wall of blockers. And here comes Nectar, looking for some points.
Carolina was hit outside by Tiggs, had the long trip back on the front stretch. And on the other side of the track, Nectar gets past the Rat City defense and put 5 on the board. Scoring pass number 2 for Nectar, and she makes it look easy stepping around, picking up 4 more.
And she sees Rat City's jammer approaching the pack and calls it off as her team advised her to do so. Harriet Thugman lining up here for the Rat Lab, taking on Neurotic Nedra for FreshMeat. Three-four pack advantage to Rat City here, and Harriet Thugman takes advantage, picks up lead. Jammer Neurotic Nedra is not far behind.
First lead jam for Rat City in quite a while now. Harriet Thugman directing traffic, telling her block as it would go. She hits the back of the pack, calls it off immediately before passing any blocker. Rose City squeaking 2 points out of the deal.
Yeah, that's one thing you learn over time is timing of the call-off whistle. If your pack is in the back, the opposing jammer is going to pick up points if they're approaching the pack at the same time.
Sketchy artist jamming for Rat Lab.
And taking on Krista Meaner for FreshMeat.
Krista Meaner pops out of the center of that pack like a cork out of a bottle, picking up lead. Gutierrez going 1-on-2 with the front of that pack, trying to step around. In comes more defenders, and the pack is extended out. They have to let her go. And right behind her, a scoring pass made by Krista Meaner as she calls it off.
And now we've got a 3-on-4 pack advantage to FreshMeat. We've got number 61, Haviland, lining up for FreshMeat up against Bento Boxer for the Rat Lab.
Oh my God, they're doing a pivot line start.
Haviland picking up lead jammer for FreshMeat.
Bento Boxer hit to the inside, trying to recycle around. Lickety Split now gets hit to the outside. Here is Haviland on a scoring pass. She gets head out of bounds as well. Now follows her pack back in, just fights through the center of that pack. High stepping like a fullback to get them 5 points.
Yes, they do get a ghost point for any opposing player sitting in the penalty box. As soon as they pass the first opponent, they'll get points for as many opposing players in the penalty box. And Haviland gets through the pack. She picks up her points and calls off the jam after 4 more for FreshMeat.
Remember, this is not the only thing happening at the hangar at Oaks Park this weekend. We are neck deep in the hometown throwdown. Rose City Rollers are hosting some of the top teams from around the nation. Bay Area Golden Girls, Denver Mile High Club, Terminal City All-Stars. For just top-level WFTDA action, come back here at 5 o'clock to see day 2 of this spectacular event.
Yes, tickets will be $17 cash at the door, $18 with a credit card. Come and hang out with some of the best skaters in all of roller derby. It's sure to be an amazing night. We've got Wheels of Justice, currently ranked number 2, taking on currently ranked number 3 Bay Area Derby girls. So that is, you don't get much better than that. I say it's a preview for the Hydra, but that's just me. And with that conclusion of this team timeout, we will get rolling once again. Number 62, that's Like a Vegan, lining up for the FreshMeat to take on Harriet Thugman for the Rat Lab.
Four in front of them on the pivot line. And both jammers just assaulting that pack like a vegan, going one-on-one and gets out, picking up lead. Harriet Thugman going port to starboard, trying to find an opening, dodges a big ol' hit.
And Maytag going to the penalty box for forearm there, and Like a Vegan picking up a 5-point, no ghost points added grand slam.
Both jammers escape the pack like a vegan right ahead of Harriet Thugman. That is Rose City's second scoring pass, Rats initial.
And the pack is picking up speed. Defensive move trying to keep your opposing jammer from picking up any points. Harriet Thugman unable to pick up anything there at the end of that jam. FreshMeat getting 2 points.
So we're going to start off with a big pack advantage for Rat. This is what they need as they are currently trailing 57-9, almost halfway through this first period. Carolina jamming for the lab up against 916 Nectar for Rose City's FreshMeat. And Nectar is going to the penalty box. That means Carolina has a power jam. She is the only one wearing a star on the track. Huge rainmaker hits right there in the pack. Carolina is able to muscle her way past Tiggs. Now has lead jammer status.
The lone blocker. And she gets by her, and there's 5 points for Carolina. Penalty box starting to empty up now. Rose with 2. Still can't stop Carolina. There's another grand slam for.
Nectar's back on the track, which means this power jam is over. Here comes Carolina on her third scoring pass. Looks like a track cut was called on Nectar, so we're going to have another power jam for Rat City.
And again, that's something that just comes with experience.
So huge jam for the Rat Lab, more than doubling their points. It is now 57-23 with 18 minutes to go in the first.
The bento boxer lining up here for Rat Lab, starting off in a power jam. Nectar still hanging out over there in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Rat City still does have a slight pack advantage, and that's what helps bento boxer get right through off the whistle to get lead status.
Betsy Nails going to the penalty box for direction of gameplay, and here comes bento box looking for points. She gets around the outside, and there's 5 more for the Rat Lab.
A good job doing the elevation change, getting low, avoiding the hits. Now just playing a little bit of Red Rover with that FreshMeat wall.
Nectar's now out of the penalty box and through on her initial pass. Bento box calls off the jam just as Nectar's approaching the pack. She thinks she gets 2, but not according to the ref. Rose City Rollers would also like to thank Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and design. Visit bikepunk.com. Neurotic Nedra here against Sketchy Artist.
Neurotic Nedra being sent to the penalty box, so we have another power jam for the Rat Lab as Sketchy Artist gets through, picks up lead. Power jam and a 3-on-2 pack advantage for Rat City.
Yeah, the girls are really hanging out in the penalty box for FreshMeat.
Susan B. Animosity just escorts Sketchy Artist to the infield, slowing down the scoring attempt, but now Rat City extends out the pack and puts 5 more on the board.
And Neurotic Nedra out of the penalty box, getting quickly through the pack on that initial pass. Sketchy Artist gets through, picks up her 4 points, and calls off the jam.
Well, as my high school football coach used to say, points win games, penalties lose games. You see Rat City take advantage of those power jam opportunities. They were down by a lot. Now it's only 15 points separating these two teams. Rose City still holding the lead, 57-42, 15 minutes ago in the first period.
And we've got Bento Boxer lining up here for the Rat Lab, taking on Krista Meaner for FreshMeat. Empty penalty box, everybody back out on the track here. Krista Meaner looking for an outside lane. Harriet Thugman on her way to the penalty box for cutting the track. And we've got Krista Meaner out the front of the pack, picking up lead jammer. Bento Box is not that far behind.
Both jammers circling around Krista Meaner. Yeah, hug the inside line a little bit too much and get called for a track cut. So we have another Rat Lab power jam. Bento Boxer scores 5. Bento Boxer's second scoring attempt. Good screen there by 1979 Mod Quad, but Rose City pushes the opposing jammer out of bounds. Bento Boxer circles back around and now has to get past that solid steel 2-wall and back.
Cherry Bomb and Andy Oakley doing a great job of slowing down Bento Boxer, trying to run down the time on Krista Meaner's penalty. But there's another 5 points there for Bento Boxer. And Krista Meaner making quick work of that pack, picking up 4 more for FreshMeat. Bento Boxer out on a scoring pass. There's 5 more for Rat.
Bento Boxer has a lot of faith in her wall as both jammers now in scoring position. Looks like Rat City's jammer was taking the outside pass, a big recycling. Oh, and got a track cut. So it's now a Rose City power jam as the whistles blow, which means that's how we're gonna start off the next jam. All 30 seconds of Rose City power jam.
Rose City Rollers would like to thank Joe's Burgers with 4 locations, awesome burgers, and they're the official feeder of the Rose City Rollers volunteers. Show them some derby love.
FreshMeat have the power jam. They have the pack advantage, 4-on-3. Haviland just muscles her way through that pack to get lead jammer.
Here comes Haviland. Oh, wide open lane on the inside. And there's a 5-point grand slam for FreshMeat.
That was Mayday opening the door for her jammer. Here comes Haviland again, scoring pass number 2. Takes a tap and once and twice from Sketchy Artist. Stays on the track, gets 5 more.
Nice clearing there by Jump Cut, making a path for her jammer to get through. Haviland gets through the pack for 4 more and then calls it off.
Rat Lab was getting close, but the Fresh Meat busted it wide open again with that 15-point power jam. 84-57 is the score.
We've got Betsy Nails lining up here for the Rat Lab, taking on Like a Vegan.
This is Betsy Nails' first time wearing the star this game. She has been a blocked fool so far, and Like a Vegan, hey, power jammer for the umpteenth time. Or lead jammer.
Pile up there right outside of turn 2, and there goes Like a Vegan for another 5 points and a grand slam.
Betsy Nails escapes the pack. Here comes Like a Vegan for scoring pass number 2, escorted to the outside by Carolina. Goes green, recycles, calls off the jam before Betsy Nails can score any points. 2 more for Rose. That makes it a 7-point jam, bringing them up to 91.
Snack like there's no tomorrow. Kind Snacks, a brand of all natural whole nut and fruit bars made from ingredients you can see and pronounce. And a proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers. Harriet Thugman here taking on number 916. That's Nectar.
Nectar is out. She is lead jammer. Harriet Thugman fighting a whole lot of Rose City blockers at turn 2. Escapes the pack. Here is Nectar now on a scoring pass. Just blasts right on through and calls it off. But Thuggy put on the afterburners, get through, scoring 2 points for the lab. Up front, 4 more for Rose City.
Neurotic Nedra lining up here for the Fresh Meat. Taking on Sketchy Artist for the Rat Lab.
4-on-4 in the pack.
And there goes Neurotic Nedra picking up a lead jammer for the Fresh Meat.
Sketchy Artist saw a whole lot of purple jerseys in front of her. Finally sees an opening on the backstretch to make her initial pass. Neurotic Nedra just does a little skating upright, strolling through the park, getting her 4 points.
It's no big deal. Do this every day. 99-59, still plenty of time. Lots of things to happen. And an empty penalty box means everybody's here. We have got number 805, that is Chris Demeanor, lining up against Betsy Nails.
So Chris Demeanor trying to find an opening on the inside. Instead sees a whole lot of green jerseys. Betsy Nails hit out by 19-20. Susan B. Animosity, and up front, Chris Demeanor finally escapes the pack, and it's going to be a power jam for her. And see why Betsy Nails was sent to the penalty box, but huge scoring opportunity now for Rose City. Chris Demeanor shrugs off that hit, gets through, gets 5.
And that takes Fresh Meat past the 100 point, 104-59. And Chris Demeanor looking to add some more here on another scoring pass.
And she does right at turn 3. 5 more for Rose City. They break the century mark now. They are at 109. 50-point lead so far. Betsy Nails comes out of the penalty box, still trying to make her initial pass. Here is Chris Demeanor scoring for a 3rd time. Susan B. Animosity being called off for a 4-arm penalty. And Betsy Nails at turn 4 escapes the pack. Chris Demeanor now just sees a solid steel green wall. She is pinballed to the outside by Hamia Toma. Oh, but that was a 4-arm penalty. So both teams are going to be down a blocker. in this next jam. 14 points for Rose City on that one. Rat Lab got 3, so it's 113 to 62.
When quality counts, call Bridgetown Automotive. Support the Rose City Rollers while taking great care of your car. Check them out. Harriet Thugman here getting recycled to the back, but we've got Haviland to the penalty box for back blocking. Power jam here for the Rat Lab.
No pack called, so Harriet Thugman gets out, gets lead. Then the blockers have to be within 20 feet of what's defined as a back. Harriet Thugman there. Oh, cut it on the inside on trying to score. So she is being sent to the penalty box. And Haviland was released before Thuggy could sit, so it's going to be a full 30-second power jam for Rose City.
Haviland now through the pack there on her initial pass. A lot of bodies hitting the floor there. We've got a back block being called. I think that was on Mies van der Rohe. And there's 5 points in the air for Haviland.
Now Harriet Thugman is out of the penalty box, resuming her scoring pass.
Oh.
Rainmaker there by 6'1" hematoma. Somebody get the Zamboni on the bottom apex because there is just bodies flying everywhere. 3 points scored by Rose City. There got a no pass, no penalty. 5 points by Harriet Thugman, who hops, skips, and jumps around the bottom of the apex there at turn 4. Both jammers get out. Both jammers get 4 points. Now, since both jammers went to the penalty box, there is no legal lead jammer, so it's going to be a full 2-minute jam.
And speaking of which, that was the end of that full 2-minute jam. And it sounds like we're gonna have a bit of a timeout here.
So the points rolled in 20 for Rose City, 13 for Rat City. This official timeout happens when 4 minutes, 7 seconds is on. Oh, little clock adjustment.
Of course, we want to thank Tom Tom, our fabulous DJ here this early afternoon. Thanks so much for being here and keeping us with some fresh tunes for our fresh meat. And there it is. That's an official review being called by FreshMeat.
Each team gets one official review, a half. But if the official review is successful and whatever they are contesting is overturned, they retain that for a second official review. If the referees maintain the call on the track, that team will lose a timeout.
Official timeouts are the perfect opportunity for our new skaters to hone their dance skills while staying nice and warmed up on the track. We often refer to this as the dance-off.
Roller derby. Come for the athleticism, stay for the timeout dance-offs.
Right, exactly. Which is why they don't allow the announcers on the track anymore. We don't want to make the skaters look bad with our slick dance moves.
I do a mean Lisa Turtle sprain.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, as the coaches and captains plead their case to the referees, who will now go off and confer about this challenge, we'd like to remind you to come back tonight for day 2 of the Hometown Throwdown. Doors open at the hangar here at 5 o'clock. And at 6, we will start with Terminal City Roller Girls from Vancouver, British Columbia, taking on the Denver Roller Derby Mile High Club. And then at 7:50, we have bout 2, Bay Area Derby Girls take on Rose City's Wheels of Justice.
Ooh, that's going to be a hot one.
It's going to be a barn burner. It is the number 2 seed Rose City taking on the number 3 seed Bay Area.
Preview to the Hydra. You don't want to miss it.
If you think the action right now is exciting and fun, it is going to be exponentially better tonight. The finest derby you ever did see.
All right here in our very own backyard, Portland, Oregon.
But then don't forget to come back tomorrow. Because at 1 o'clock, we have day 3 of the Hometown Throwdown, where Denver will take on Bay Area. And at 3 p.m., Terminal City will go against the Wheels of Justice.
So we've got our head ref, Dizzy Duzzer, delivering the verdict of this official review to the captains and the coaches.
And don't forget the most important part of modern roller derby. After tomorrow's festivities, there will be the after party at the White Owl Social Club. You get free admission there with a bout ticket or a wristband. Remember, it is $70 per day to come to the Hometown Throwdown.
So whatever it was that Rose City was asking for, they were declined, and they do lose their official review for the first period.
I do have to point out that admission to this exposition game does not give you entry. Exhibition, not exposition. I'm doing exposition about the exhibition.
Right.
Does not give you entry to any of the Hometown Throwdown games tonight or tomorrow.
Like a Vegan here taking on Sketchy Artist, and Like a Vegan already picking up a lead jammer.
And Sketchy Artist swims around that last line defense to escape the pack. And here is Like a Vegan now going through, hunkering down, getting 4, calling it off.
Like a Vegan has no regard for Rat Lab having a pack advantage. She says, pack advantage what? And blows them out of the water. Calls off the jam before Rat Lab can pick any points up. 137.75. About 3.5 minutes left in this first period.
I distinctly heard her say pack advantage, schmackage, schmanage.
Yeah.
Action resumes on the track with 9-16 Nectar going up against 18-16 Moi Dibs of the Rat Lab.
Nectar with the lead jammer now. Ma Dibs picking up some speed right behind her.
This time it's Rat City with the pack advantage, 3-on-4. Both jammers hitting the pack. Nectar called it off right before Moi Dibs could hit the first blocker, so 3 more points for Rose City. That is 140-75.
And as you all know, the magic, it's in the hole. Proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. That's our good friends over at Voodoo Donuts. Donuts. Bento Boxer taking on Neurotic Nedra here.
Rat still hanging on to a 4-on-3 blocker advantage. And Bento Boxer takes advantage of that to pick up lead. Sketchy Artist got all up in Neurotic Nedra's grill, slowing down Rose City's escape from the pack. Now Bento Boxer trying to high step it through. Calls off the jam as the Rose City Jammer hits the back of the pack. 2 for the lab and 2 for the meat.
2 for 2. We've got Ma Dibs lining up here for Rat Lab, taking on Chris Demeanor for the FreshMeat.
The period clock is winding down. We have time for at least one more jam. Well, it was just shut down by that Rose City wall, but it was a multiplayer block called. They have to let her go, and she gets right on through and picks up lead with Krista Meaner behind her by about a quarter of a lap.
Here comes Ma Dibs around on the outside. Oh, and she goes down and decides she's had enough of that jam, calls it off, picking up 3 points in the process.
She got it off with just under 50 seconds to go on the game clock, which means we will have another jam.
And then we'll have 30 more minutes of jams after the half.
10-minute intermission.
Woo!
Unless there is an official timeout called.
There might be an ointment for that.
Oh, you need a power.
Yeah, that's true.
Hot mics. Oh, that's archived for all eternity.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a little bit of bookkeeping down there on the whiteboard, which is facing away from us. So as it stands at this moment, Rose City is up 142 to Rat City's 80 with 29 seconds to go in the first period.
Indeed, and we have got 747 Sketchy Artists on the line against number 61, Haviland.
Bare bones 2-2 pack in front of them.
Holy moly, look at that penalty box. This is a pack light there for Haviland breakthrough, picking up lead jammer.
Peter Venkman just swept Bento, or is he Sketchy Artist, to the outside, which allows Haviland to escape and get through. And calls off the jam, and that is the half. 4 points picked up by Rose City, 2 for the blockers on the track, 2 for the ghost points in the penalty box. So it is 146 to 80. We'll see you right back here with the exciting second half.
All right, we're going to kick off the second half with Bento Boxer on the line for the Ret Lab, taking on Neurotic Nedra for Fresh Meat. Today would be a good day for steaks.
Bare bones 2-on-2 pack. Neurotic Nedra pushes away past Betty Nails, pick up lead status. And Bento Boxer muscles her way past that two wall as well. Penalty called.
And there goes Neurotic Nedra around the outside of the pack. That's 4 points for Fresh Meat.
Tiggs is the last line of defense, gives Bento Boxer a parting shot as the Rat Lab gets 4 points. Here is Neurotic Nedra's second scoring pass. She picked up a back block, so it is going to be a Rat Lab power jam. Bento Boxer just goes out, goes in, goes through, gets 5.
And here comes Bento Boxer again looking for more points. She gets them. That's 5.
Excellent screen there by Betsy Nails, which opened the door in front of her, allowing Bento Boxer to get through that pack almost untouched. And there she does it all on her own, getting 5 more.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure there was lots of discussion at halftime. Neurotic Nedra threw the pack out of the penalty box, takes her 4. 4 more for Bento Boxer. And of course, this jam will go the full 2 minutes. Oh.
No pack called. Neurotic Nedra gets a free pass through the pack to get 4 more points. And Bento Boxer trapped behind that Rose City 2 wall. She just does a little shuffle move, creates her own opening to get 4 more points. And Neurotic Nedra gets a 4-point pass as well.
Bento Boxer picking up 2 more before the end of that jam brings the Rat Lab to 109, 162. That was a 29-point jam for Bento Boxer. That is pretty impressive.
So Rose City able to put 16 on the board, so it's 13-point differential, still nips away at that lead that the FreshMeat have.
Harriet Thugman here jamming against Krista Meaner.
She's getting against Harriet Thugman. Krista Meaner now getting taken down to the sport court by 22 Kendra Hertz. Once and twice. Harriet Thugman was head to the outside, has a long way to recycle back onto the track.
And Krista Meaner gets around Andy Oakley, that was Kendra Hertz picking up lead jammer for FreshMeat. Harriet Thugman now out of the pack as well.
Now Krista Meaner on a scoring pass. She goes out, she goes in, goes through, and gets 4.
And at the urging of her coaches, Krista Meaner calls off the jam. Rose City Rollers would like to thank the PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events happening. That is PDX Pipeline.
Holy moly, Mistress Mouse. We actually have a 5-on-5 jam.
Oh, how'd that happen?
Skill, that's how that happened.
Like a Vegan, first one through the pack. They're quickly picking up lead jammer for FreshMeat. Sketchy Artist still trying to get her way through, and she is through the pack now on her initial pass. Oh, and a nice open lane on the outside for Like a Vegan, but...
Called for skating out of bounds.
Yep.
She went too far as she crossed that line. So that means we have a power jam for Sketchy Artist and 5 points for the Rat Lab. Rat Lab does have a 4-on-2 pack advantage as Sketchy Artist comes back around. She hugs that outside line at turn 3 to get 5 more.
Nice control there, staying in bounds, avoiding getting pushed out. And again, this is going to be another full 2-minute jam.
Good offensive blocking there by Moi Dibbs. That's 5 more for the Lab, 15 points altogether. Sketchy Artist coming back around as the power jam comes to an end. Same spot as she scored all of them beforehand, gets 5 more.
Ma Dibbs with a hard hit there on Like a Vegan is sending Maud to the penalty box.
And Moi Dibbs was the lead jammer before being sent to the penalty box, which means we're going to have a 2-minute jam. 4 points there for Rose City. Both jammers out. And both jammers getting 4.
Here comes Like a Vegan looking for a few more points here before the end of this jam.
Back block called on Like a Vegan right before the whistle blew. So we're going to start off with a Rat Lab power jam. Another huge double-digit jam for the Rat Lab. They got 27.
27, yeah.
Rose City getting 10 on that one, but still the Lab nipping away.
At that rate, there is absolutely plenty of time for Rat Lab to come back and get on top of points here. Harriet Thugman starting off in this power jam, 30 seconds of unanswered points. She's through on her initial pass.
Yeah, she just plowed through that line, going beast mode against Rose City. Rat now just letting her come through, making her own trip through the pack to pick up 5.
FreshMeat with only 3 blockers on the tracks, trying to set up that triangle defense, but Harriet Thugman goes to the inside, and there's another 5-point grand slam.
Like a Vegan back on the track, power jam comes to an end. She gets right on through to make her initial pass. Here comes Harriet Thugman, scoring pass number 3, fighting for each point, calls it off. 4 more points, 14-point jam, which makes it a 26-point game now.
Absolutely making a comeback here in the second half. Oh, we've got Nectar here lining up for Fresh Meat, taking on Betsy Nails for the Rat Lab. Empty penalty box.
Nectar just assaults that front line of the Rat Lab.
Sees the inside lane, picks up lead jammer.
Betsy Nails finally gets past Tiggs, but right behind her, Nectar, with nobody looking at her, scores 4 points.
Ooh, sponsor. Rose City Rollers would like to thank Car2Go. Meet the future of car sharing. Sign up today at car2go.com.
Haviland versus Sketchy Artist. Rose City gets out lead jammer with Sketchy right behind her.
It's a jammer race. And she calls it off, picking up 2 points before that fourth whistle.
Now, after the jammer calls it off, you have until that fourth whistle blows to keep scoring points. That's how Haviland was able to time it to get those points. Bento Boxer versus Neurotic Nedra on the jam line.
And there goes Neurotic Nedra picking up lead jammer for Fresh Meat. Bento Boxer's right behind her.
Both teams doing great jobs with those braced 3 walls. Neurotic Nedra hits the back of the pack, gets right on past everyone in a green jersey before calling it off. Gets 4 more points.
She starts tapping her hips as she's approaching the pack, and by the time the ref gets done with that fourth whistle, she'd picked up her points.
Another 5-5 jam, Chris Demeanor versus Harriet Thugman. No pack called. Chris Demeanor gets the free pass to pick up a lead.
Harriet Thugman just having a hell of a time getting around that wall of purple, but she is through now on her initial pass while Chris Demeanor is working on some points. Takes that lane on the outside, picks up her 4 and calls off the jam. Ma Dibs here on the line with a star on her helmet for Rat Lab, taking on Like a Vegan for the Fresh Meat.
And they are off. Both jammers colliding on the inside. Ma Dibs goes lateral, finds an opening on the outside to pick up a lead with Like a Vegan right behind her.
And a very fast-moving pack here. Oh my. Ma Dibs calls it off, but doesn't get any points. 3 points for Fresh Meat there.
Well, just as soon as Rat Lab gets closed in, Rose City starts running away with the points. So it's 193 to 50, 43-point advantage for the Fresh Meat.
Yes, Fresh Meat adapting well to Rat Lab's change in strategy coming into the second period.
Nectar going port to starboard. All she sees is a whole lot of Bento Boxer.
Oh, and she gets the forearm penalty She is going to the penalty box. Power jam for Rad Lab. Sketchy Artist in the driver's seat.
Last time Sketchy Artist had a power jam, she put up 27 points.
Sketchy Artist gets around Cheery Bomb, and that's a 5-point grand slam.
Bento Boxer now trying to break open a hole for Sketchy Artist. Takes his last line of defense, has to let Sketchy Artist go. Another 5-point scoring pass for the Lab as the power jam comes to an end. Nectar gets taken down, finally gets through. That was the initial pass. Third scoring pass for Sketchy Artist, calling it off before Rose can get back around again. So 15 altogether for the Lab.
It's getting a little moist up here. Haviland here against Betsy Nails. 3-on-4 pack advantage to the Rat Lab. And Haviland says, advantage what? Betsy Nails recycled back to the jammer line, and here comes Haviland looking for points. And points she shall receive. There's 4 for Haviland.
Oh. Forearm call on Haviland, so Betsy Nails with the power jam. And she gets right into scoring position. Jukes right around Susan B. Animosity to put 5 on the point for 5 points on the board for Seattle. Rose City with just a solid steel 4-wall up front forces out Betsy Nails. They lose a blocker to a penalty, but that did eat up a lot of time on the power jam. And here comes Haviland out of nowhere getting through that pack to score 5.
And Betsy Nails going to the penalty box for cutting track, and the penalty pendulum swings the other direction. So now we have Haviland and a power jam.
And we're also going to have a 2-minute shootout. There is 5 more points for Haviland. Haviland muscles her way through that pack, gets another 5 for scoring pass number 4. And here's 5 going on the bottom apex, untouched for another 5 points.
Wow. That was pretty.
Rose City passes the double century mark. They have 217 to the Rat Labs 174 with just under 14 minutes to go in the game.
Harriet Thugman here on the line for the Rat Lab, taking on Neurotic Nedra for FreshMeat.
Both jammers go to the infield, have to recycle back around and get out of the pack just about at the same time. Neurotic Nedra does it first, however, and gets the lead.
Nedra gets through the pack, picks up 4 more, calls off the jam, but 2 more for Rat Lab in the process. And it looks like we have an official review being called by the Rat Lab.
Remember to come back here at 6 o'clock to see day 2 of the hometown throwdown, where Terminal City Roller Girls All-Stars will take on the Denver Roller Derby Mile High Club. And in the main event of the evening, one of the best derby matchups you will ever see, Bay Area Derby Girls, Golden Girls versus Rose City Rollers, Wheels of Justice. Tickets are $17 at the door. Well worth it.
Indeed. It is going to, you are not going to see any higher quality of roller derby than you will see here this weekend at the hangar. Come on out tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be fan-freaking-tastic. And not just because there's this thing called the rankings in the Woofdada that could be shaken up. There's going to be a lot of shaking up in the rankings regardless, especially after East Coast Extravaganza last weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up. All right, I hear that the no call stands. And the Rat Lab will lose their official review.
So as the action resumes, we have Bento Boxer going against Chris Demeanor back on the jam line.
Chris Demeanor breaks through, picks up lead jammer for FreshMeat. Bento Boxer now out of the pack as well. Chris Demeanor looking for some points here.
Penalty box has emptied out right as Chris Demeanor hits the back of the pack. She calls off the jam right as Bento Boxer catches up. So 1 point for the FreshMeat. And 3 points for the Rat Lab.
Clearly, Tiggs wants to claim that jammer line for herself. If you lick it, it's all yours. Oh wait, that's a different set of rules. Like a vegan here taking on Ma Dibs.
Both jammers trying to fight their way past a solid sea of humanity that we call the pack. They're both near the front of the pack, and like a vegan gets out, gets lead jammer. Moa Dibs was escorted to the outside, goes back around the pack, losing all of her momentum. Here is like a vegan now forcing her way through that pack. Oh, but her skates go out of bounds. Able to recover though legally to score 5.
Mies Vanderroel with a hard hit on the blocker that tried to take out like a vegan. Whew. And she calls it off.
Once again, Rose City not calling it off in time, allowing Rat Lab to score. So 8 points on that jam for the FreshMeat, 4 points for the Lab.
Nectar here on the line for the FreshMeat up against Harriet Thugman for the Rat Lab.
Seattle with the 4-on-2 pack advantage.
Oh, pile up right out of the gate there.
Harriet Thugman doing a great job of getting knocked down, recovering, and blasting through the pack to pick up lead jammer.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. No, never mind. I'll not ever do that again. Harriet Thugman with 4 points there. She calls off the jam. And we have a team timeout as called by Rose City.
I'd like to thank all the officials and volunteers for coming out early on a Saturday morning to make this game happen. That includes us. I'm thinking us, mostly.
Hey, look, more derby.
Hey, look, a 4-on-3 pack advantage for Rat City. Haviland versus Sketchy Artist on the jam line.
A lot of pushing and shoving going on down there, but Haviland goes around the outside, picks up lead jammer for FreshMeat. Sketchy Artist is right behind her. Pack is definitely picking up speed.
Haviland calls off the jam as she hits the back of the pack, does pass one blocker's hips for a single solitary point that extends the Rose City's lead out 231 to Rat City's 187.
FreshMeat are going to work on controlling the clock at this point. They've got a somewhat comfortable lead. And so they're going to just run as much time off the clock as they possibly can, I would imagine.
As the poet said, Tie-I-I'm is on their side. Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Rat Lab losing a blocker to a back block. That leads Neurotic Nedra to get through the pack to pick up lead. Bento Boxer trying to fight away past that front two wall of FreshMeat, which she does as the Rose City Jammer goes through, calls it off, and gets 4.
Chris Demeanor here on the line, taking on Betsy Nails.
4-3 pack advantage in favor of Rose City.
Chris Demeanor right up against the backside of that triangle defense, but it is starting to break down a little bit, as is Chris Demeanor. Everyone's kind of getting tired here. But Chris Demeanor does pick up lead jammer. She's out of the pack first.
Some clutch blocking by the FreshMeat keeps Betsy Nails recycling again and again. And now Chris Demeanor is on a scoring path. She just collides with that green wall. Calling off the jam before Betsy Nails can hit the back of the pack. So 3 more points for Rose, 0 for Rat.
Well, we'd like to thank the Oaks Amusement Park for having us home of the Rose City Rollers, and of course, a place to purchase your derby gear. Also want to thank John's Landing, Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery. They are John's Landing's favorite eatery and saloon.
Harriet Thugman sprints through the pack to pick up lead with like a vegan right behind her.
Communicating to her blockers her intentions and where she'd like them to clear the pack for. She gets up into the pack and picks up some points, 2 points, and calls it off, but 3 points for Rose City on that one too.
241, Fresh Meat, 189, Rat Lab with 6.5 minutes to go in the game. Sketchy Artist jamming against Nectar. Nectar shrugs off some big hits in the back of the pack to escape and pick up lead. Sketchy Artist now is trapped behind a 2-wall of Rose City up in front.
Nectar with 5 and a grand slam. All natural. Cherry Bombs on her way to the penalty box. And Mies Vanderroel on her way to the penalty box. It's a party in the penalty box. Bento Boxer's on her way to the penalty box as well.
There's a whole lot of people over in that penalty box. So Rose has a one-person wall, which Harriet Thugman shrugs on by. But despite that disadvantage of blockers, Haviland is out right behind her.
Harriet Thugman communicating to her blockers to pick up the pace. Calls it off after picking up 4 points.
Yeah, that was a big gamble for Harriet Thugman, but it did pay off as she held Rose City scoreless. That fourth whistle blowing just a fraction of a second before Haviland passed the green blocker.
And next up, we're going to have Sketchy Artist back on the line for the Rat Lab, taking on Neurotic Nedra for the Fresh Meat.
4-3 advantage for the Lab. Sketchy Artist gets through right at the pivot line. And Neurotic Nedra is behind her, coming in fast.
And Sketchy Artist doesn't want to give up the points to Neurotic Nedra, so she calls it off.
Team timeout by Rat City. All right, 4 minutes ago in the game. 5-on-5 on the track. And official timeout called. I think the scorekeeper just wanted to flex. Yeah, pump them buys.
So it looks like we have Mies Vanderroel, number 1618, being fouled out for the 7th. No? Oh, misconduct. Oh, so we have misconduct. So we'll see her next time.
All right, so that's 4-3 pack advantage for the Rat Lab. They have Harry Thugman on the line up against 805 Chris Demeanor. All right, the officials have everything sorted out. It is time to play Derby again.
Enough time here for 2 or 3 more jams. Harriet Thugman knocked to the inside right off the bat. Krista Meaner, gets the penalty, forearms, and is going to put Harriet Thugman in a power jam for the Rat Lab.
Power jam and pack advantage still. Drafting right behind 22, Kendra Hertz to pick up 5 points for the Lab.
The Rat Lab is going to try to make up as much of these points as they can in these last few minutes. Harriet Thugman with 5 more. That brings them past the 200 point, 203, 250. And Harriet Thugman's looking for another scoring pass here as the penalty box is empty.
Both jammers fighting to get through. Dougie finds opening on the outside. That is 4 more points for the Lab and the initial pass for Rose City. So with that 14-point power gem, Harriet Thugman brings the Rat Lab to within 43 points of Rose City, but 2.5 minutes remain in the game. It is going to be a tough hill to climb to catch up to that FreshMeat lead.
If anyone can put points on the board for Rat Lab, it's going to be Bento Boxer taking on Like a Vegan here for FreshMeat. And just what Rat Lab needs. We've got Like a Vegan going to the penalty box.
That was a high block called, but Bento Boxer still needs to fight her way past that dominating 3-wall, which she does right before turn 3 to get lead jammer status.
Knocked out of bounds on the outside in front of the penalty box. Bento Boxer's going to get run to the back and try it again.
Well, that FreshMeat 4-wall has Bento Boxer on lock. 87-57, Thrace is coming in to help break it up.
And there is your penalty kill, ladies and gentlemen. Like a Vegan out of the penalty box and through on her initial pass now. Bento Boxer only able to pick up 5 on that jam, and we'll have time for at least 1 more. We have timeout being called by Rat City.
Great strategy there by Bento Boxer. She saw everyone confused, called the jam, and still got through untouched to score those points before the final whistle blew.
And a very good time here for Rat Lab to use their final timeout. That is indeed what it's there for.
Remember, we would love to see you back here this evening at 6 o'clock for day 2 of the Hometown Throwdown. Admission is only $17 cash at the door, $18 if you're going to charge it. And then come back tomorrow afternoon for the conclusion of this high-level WFTDA Derby extravaganza.
It's a scorcher. All right, we've got Sketchy Artist here lining up for the Rat Lab. Taking on Nectar for the FreshMeat.
Rat City does have the pack advantage. That's not stopping Nectar, who gets out in front and is lead jammer. Sketchy Artist pinned on the inside. Finally sees an escape, but here is Rose City now in scoring position. Nectar collides with that back wall, shrugs it off, gets through, scores 4.
Pack picking up a speed here. Sketchy Artist telling her jammers or her blockers to keep up. Nectar working on points. There picks up 4 more.
Sketchy Artist escapes the pack. She picks up 4 points of her own. Nectar takes a huge hit from Mod Quad, but keeps on skating forward. Both jammers escape the pack. Both jammers get 4. Low block called on Sketchy Artist, so we are going to end this with a Rose City Power Jam. Nectar comes back around, putting more points on the board.
This one's fine. I'll go down to do the MVP.
And jam is called off. That is the end of regulation. We have an unofficial score, 271 for the Rose City Rollers Fresh Meat, 222 for Rat City Roller Girls Rat Lab. The officials are going to make sure that every T is dotted and I is crossed before they signal the official victor. And I'm going to toss it down to Mistress Mouth on the infield.
All right, don't go away. We're going to get our P's and Q's together and we're going to announce the team MVPs here in just a moment.
Like a vegan?
And there it is, the final score. Rose City Rollers Fresh Meat take the victory.
All right, if I can have the team captains from both teams come see me. Who's your captain? Oh, go ahead and take your lap and then come see me. Take your lap. Give it up for the Rat City Rat Lab, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're going to do MVPs here. Who is your MVP blocker? Number 86, MVP blocker. And your MVP jammer? I believe some... Like a vegan, MVP jammer. All right, and who do we have on the Rat Lab MVP blocker?
Number 22.
Number 22 MVP blocker. And who's our MVP jammer?
Is Thugman.
Thugman, Harriet Thugman. All right, guys, don't go away because they're going to want to take some pictures. MVP's right there. Cheese for the camera. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. Smouth, and on behalf of Murray Grande and myself, we'd like to thank you for coming out today. Be sure to be back here next time. Gosh, such a huge crowd. I'm overwhelmed. Thanks, guys. Have a good night, and we hope to see you back here later this evening and or tomorrow.